Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we're going to talk about the double kettlebell front squat, an essential exercise for all athletic training. Squats are one of the fundamental athletic training patterns that you should do. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what sport you do. You should be working on a full range of movement squat at some point in your training, probably twice a week for the rest of your life. I like the double kettlebell front squat because it allows people to get good front squat training almost anywhere. The double kettlebell front squat solves a lot of problems that people have with squatting. Almost everybody can be squatting deeper. Because we live in the modern world and the majority of people sit down in chairs the majority of the day, they sit down in cars, they sit down on trains, they sit down at work. Most people do not have core support below about 90 degrees. When people go to the gym, they can kind of work around their lack of strength and mobility in this specific area. Many athletes, even well-trained athletes, really benefit from going to double kettlebell front squats and learning that they can squat lower and lower and lower. Think of the bottom range of your squat as being tailbone all the way down. I have several major knee injuries. You should be able to squat lower than me. Almost everybody should be able to squat lower than me. The goal is tailbone down, spine as vertical as possible. Step up to your bell, 2 feet point straight ahead. This lets you know about your distance. Double kettlebell stance is slightly wider than single kettlebell stance. Step back 12 to 18 inches from the bells. Still point your feet generally straight ahead. 2 thumbs point towards the sky, 2 thumbs point down for basic technique. Push your hips back. Weight is in your heels. Your knees are behind the line of your toes. If your knees are forward and your heels are off the ground, get further back. Think of the start as a deadlift. Drive the shoulders away from the ears. Push the weights back. Stand all the way up. Forearms are vertical. Avoid bent wrist, barbell wrist, or dumbbell wrist. Fingers point towards the sky, but get your fingers out of the way so you're not crushing them between the handles. In the beginning, people will do something like interlace their fingers if they're not doing combination movement. Straight legs at the top, squeeze the glutes. Get down to the bottom. Get down, lean back, verticalize your spine. Get as tall as possible. Tailbone down, head up. Exhale on the way up. Get down, exhale up. Get down at the bottom of every rep. Lean back, weight in the heels, verticalize the spine, stand up. Get down, lean back, stand up. To set the weights down, push the weights back, thumb points back, set the weight down out in front. The double kettlebell front squat is different from almost all the squats that you are going to do in the gym. A barbell back squat has a different position than this. But you will notice this double kettlebell front squat is very similar to Atlas stone lifting and to types of movements that you do in martial arts. In the real world, I have almost never back squatted something on, say, a construction site or on a farm. You're almost always holding weights in front of you. Working with weights in front of your body allows you to lean back away from the weights, to lean away from it to make your spine as vertical as possible. In the beginning, people will notice deficits in their movement and their body will try to tip forward and their spine will deviate from vertical instead of going straight up. Start with weights that allow you to lean back away from them and get your spine vertical. People will notice that they might not have full core firing, for lack of a better term, in the movement. They will get down to here, they will lean forward, their tailbone will be up. Everybody needs to learn to get down and to be more vertical. You will see people on the way up lift their tail and then try to power up like a good morning. Go with weights light enough that you can stay vertical spine the entire time. The more vertical, the better. Your eyes should look forward. If you find yourself looking at the ground, you're probably lifting your tailbone up. Eyes forward, pick a point in the distance and stare at it the entire time. Double kettlebell squat is accessible. You can do a double kettlebell squat in a 5th floor apartment walk up in New York City. You can do it in an apartment in Los Angeles. You can do it in London. You can do it on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. kettlebells are lighter than barbells. They do a version of strength, but they mostly do strength endurance. In the beginning, people will treat it with sets of 3 to 5, like pure strength training, until they get their spine vertical. The great thing about kettlebells is that you can easily combine the squat with cleans, with swings, with presses in order to create an infinite amount of endurance strength training. 2 kettlebells will last you your entire life. If you think that you run into the edge of your kettlebells, you can either change the number of reps of each thing that you were doing, combine the movements in different ways, different patterns, or go longer. There is no way you can run into the end of kettlebell training. The double kettlebell front squat is essential, and you should be incredibly good at it. The side effect is you'll get abs on accident.